It started with a single smirk in the humid evening air of Charlotte, North Carolina, where the cicadas buzzed like a warning I should have heeded. I was Emily Hayes, 28, a mid-level accountant at a local firm. The kind where I crunched numbers all day to make sure everyone else's lives added up. I'd poured my soul into planning my brother's 24th birthday bash in our parents' backyard, fairy lights draped over the oak trees, a smoker churning out pulled pork, and a cooler stocked with craft beers because he always complained about basic parties. I'd even fronted the cash for it all, dipping into my savings yet again. My gift to him? A custom leather wallet, engraved with a simple message, for the road ahead. Tucked inside was a check for $3,000 to cover his overdue car payments and a chunk of his student loans that he'd let pile up while pursuing his music. I handed it over with my heart in my throat, thinking this time he'd see me, not just the money, but the sister who'd always had his back. He peeled open the wrapping, glanced at the wallet, and let out a snort that cut through the chatter like a knife. Trying to buy your way into relevance, he said, loud enough for the whole yard to hear. My parents' mom, Laura Hayes, with her perfectly coiffed hair, and Dad, Robert Hayes, nursing his beer, erupted in laughter, along with our cousins and a few neighbors. It wasn't a chuckle, it was a roar, the kind that echoes in your bones. My cheeks flamed, but I kept my face steady, snatching the wallet back before the humiliation could swallow me whole. Glad I know where I stand, I said, my voice a low hiss that barely masked the storm brewing inside. I turned on my heel, the gravel crunching under my boots as I walked away. There, please, Emily. Come on. It's just a joke, fading behind me like smoke. That night, as I drove home to my quiet apartment, the betrayal gnawed at me, a slow poison seeping into every memory of the years I'd sacrificed for them. It wasn't just the party, it was the realization that I'd been their invisible crutch. And this was how they repaid me, with mockery that exposed the rot at our family's core. The morning after, my phone lit up like a battlefield, notifications piling on like artillery fire. Missed calls from Mom, Dad, even my Uncle Frank from upstate. Texts flooded in, Moms, we need to talk. Honey, you're blowing this out of proportion. Dad's gruff, stop being dramatic and get back here, and a passive-aggressive one from my brother, Jake Hayes, saying chill. It was funny. I sat on my worn couch, nursing a black coffee that tasted like ash, scrolling through the barrage. For 3 years, I'd been their financial lifeline. Ever since Mom called me in tears about their mounting debts after Dad lost his job at the auto plant. As an accountant, I earn enough to live comfortably $75,000 a year, but I'd stretched it thin to keep them afloat. $1,200 a month for their mortgage when the payments lagged, $400 for utilities when the lights flickered on the verge of shutoff, even $2,000 for Dad's knee surgery because their insurance lapsed. Jake was the black hole, 24 and calling himself a producer, holing up in his room mixing beats on equipment I'd bought him, a laptop, software, headphones totaling $1,200 while he dodged real jobs. He'd promised to pay me back once I blow up, but his SoundCloud had maybe 100 followers, and his excuses were as endless as his naps. I'd skipped vacations, delayed buying a new car, eaten ramen for weeks to free up cash for them. And for what? Not a single thank you that stuck. Just more asks wrapped in guilt. Mom would say, family comes first, Emily, like it was a commandment carved in stone. Dad grumbled about hard times, never admitting his gambling habit on sports bets was draining them faster than any layoff. Jake? He'd roll his eyes, call me the money police when I suggested he apply for barista gigs. Sitting there, staring at their messages, the anger simmered low in my gut, a quiet fire that wouldn't extinguish. They didn't see the exhaustion in my eyes from late-night spreadsheets. The resentment building like interest on a bad loan. No, I was just the reliable one. The fixer. The fool. When Mom texted again, "Think about your father. He's not well," I felt the crack widen. They weren't sorry, they were scared I'd stop the flow. I silenced my phone. The quiet in my apartment amplifying the echo of their laughter from the night before. For the first time, I wondered if love was supposed to feel this one-sided. This hollow. 2 weeks dragged by. The silence from them a tense standoff I hadn't expected. Then came the ambush, a family intervention at their house. The same split-level ranch I'd helped save from foreclosure twice. Mom had called. Her voice syrupy with false concern. "We miss you. Let's clear the air." I went. Fool that I was. Hoping for remorse. For acknowledgement of the blood I'd bled in dollars. The living room smelled of stale coffee and tension. Mom perched on the edge of the sofa. Dabbing at dry eyes, Dad paced like a caged animal. Uncle Frank sat awkwardly in the recliner. Fiddling with his watch, Jake lounged against the wall. Thumbs flying over his phone. Mom launched in first. Her words a scripted plea. Families fight. But we don't abandon each other. She painted Dad as a victim of bad luck, ignoring his poker nights that siphoned hundreds. "You've always been our rock," she said. But it rang false. Like a bad check. Dad snarled. "You're acting like a spoiled kid. Walking out over nothing." Uncle Frank nodded, murmuring about blood being thicker than water, but his eyes darted away. He knew I'd loaned him $500 last year for his emergency. Jake finally looked up, smirking. "You always take things too seriously. Sis, lighten up." That's when my phone buzzed, alert from a cousin linking to Jake's Instagram story. He'd posted a meme about stingy siblings, tagging me with a caption, "When your sis thinks her cash makes her boss." Likes poured in from his online buddies. Comments calling me cold-hearted and entitled. The room spun, my hands clenched into fists. "I've paid your way for years," I said, my voice rising like a tide. "Mortgage. Bills. Your damn music toys, and this is how you repay me? By dragging me online." Mom gasped. Dad scoffed, "Don't throw money in our faces," and Uncle Frank suggested compromise, meaning I foot more bills. No apologies. Just deflection. I stormed out again, their voices chasing me like ghosts. Later. Over burgers at a greasy spoon with my old friend Sarah. I spilled it all. She listened. Then said flatly, "They're vampires. Sucking you dry. Cut the cord before you're empty." Her words lodged in me like shrapnel. I'd enabled their laziness. Mistaken pity for love. That night, I texted them, "No more money. Handle your own mess." The replies exploded, Mom's sobs and voicemails. Dad's threats of disowning me. Jake's silence a sullen void. The betrayal burned hotter. But so did my resolve. By early fall, their desperation clawed at me like thorns. I'd stuck to my guns after that final text, ignoring the barrage that followed. Mom called daily, her voice cracking. "We're sinking. Emily." The house payments late again, $1,500 short. Dad texted accusations. "You think you're too good for us now?" Jake stayed mute. But I knew he was seething in his room. His career stalled without my subsidies. The guilt twisted in me at night. Memories of Mom's "we're family" mantra haunting my dreams like a bad debt. But a weekend with my boyfriend, Chris, and his folks shattered the illusion. Their home in the suburbs was a haven. Chris's dad, Mike, in his workshop restoring vintage bikes, waved me in. "Grab a wrench." Ever tuned a carburetor? I hadn't. But he guided me patiently. No expectations. Just shared laughs over stuck bolts. Chris's mom, Karen, served homemade chili. asking about my job with genuine interest. Not a hint of ask. His sister, Beth, ribbed me about my poor aim in their backyard horseshoe game. But it was affectionate, warming the chill in my chest. They didn't need my wallet, they wanted my company. Mike thanked me for helping with the bike. Karen packed leftovers, just because Beth offered tips on negotiating my next raise. It was a mirror to my family's greed here. Value wasn't measured in checks. Back home, Mom's pleas escalated. An eviction warning loomed. I didn't budge. The silence my shield. Spending more time with Chris's clan, I felt the fracture heal. Piece by piece. Mike taught me basic welding. Karen shared gardening secrets. Beth and I bonded over bad rom-coms. Their ease was a balm, exposing how my blood ties had been chains. My family's silence grew ominous. But I embraced the quiet. The space to breathe without their weight. Mid-October brought the storm's peak. Mom's call was hysterical. Foreclosures filed, $10,000 arrears. We're losing everything. Her words hung like a noose. But I said nothing. The line dead in my hand. Jake texted next, need $400 for studio time. This could be my break. No remorse for his online smear. Just entitlement. I wired him $1. Replying, that's all you get. Earn the rest. His fury erupted in caps-locked rants. But I blocked him mid-sentence. A cold satisfaction blooming. At Chris's family barbecue. Smoke curled from the grill as Mike basted ribs. Karen dished coleslaw. Beth challenged me to darts. Their laughter was genuine, pulling me in without strings. Mike sought my advice on a bike part. Karen confided family tales. Beth's teasing felt like inclusion. My phone buzzed, Mom detailing the bank's ultimatum. I ignored it, tossing a dart that hit bullseye for once. The freedom tasted sweet. But the price lingered. Their downfall was self-inflicted. Yet the echo of betrayal scarred me deep. Late November's chill mirrored their icy quiet. No more pleas. The house was gone. Rumor had it they'd crammed into a dingy duplex. Jake stocked shelves at a big box store. His dreams deferred by reality. I felt a twinge. But it faded. Years of my sweat equity wasted on their inertia. Deleting their contacts was cathartic, erasing the digital chains. My promotion at work came through, a senior role with a 25% bump. Benefits I'd never chased before. Evenings with Chris's kin filled the void. Mike's bike rides, Karen's baking sessions, Beth's movie nights. They gifted me a toolkit, inscribed, for building your own path. It wasn't grand, it was real. In my journal, I etched the truth. Boundaries aren't walls, they're lifelines. My family's ruin was the cost of their choices. My peace the reward of mine. The silence now? It was golden. A testament to survival over blood.